This is the gaming channel. For a change, I've decided to do a video that isn't related to gaming and is instead related to my favourite franchise, Star Wars. Even though I mostly do gaming videos, the key word is mostly. At the moment, I will stick to making these types of videos on a rarer basis. Now we can truly begin. You may be wondering why Sith and Dark Side Force users have the names they have, and whether they have meanings. Many fictional character names have meanings, and the names of the Sith and Dark Side Force users in this video do as well. In this video, I will discuss the meanings of the names that these Dark Side characters have. Also, just before we start, I'm not including every Sith and Dark Side Force user ever. I've picked 10 of them, and there is the possibility of a follow-up video where I could discuss the name meanings for more Sith and Dark Side Force users. Here we go. We'll start with the most infamous Sith in Star Wars, Darth Vader. His name has numerous different meanings. You could say the meaning of the first word in his Sith title will apply to every Sith Lord with Darth at the beginning. In addition, we have to consider that Vader was the first ever Sith Lord to be created and to feature in Star Wars. Presumably, his full title was his original name before his true name, Anakin Skywalker, came into the picture. George Lucas eventually came up with Darth Vader when he was creating the character. He even said during an interview with Rolling Stone in 2005 that Darth is a variation of Dark, and Vader is a variation of Father, so it's basically Dark Father. Based on what we know about the character, it makes sense that his name means Dark Father. What can be gathered from this is that Darth is supposed to mean dark. Sith are dark and evil characters, while dark can be linked to being evil. Following the release of The Empire Strikes Back in 1980, Lucas said that the name Vader came about thanks to the German and Dutch versions of the word, the German one being Vater, and the Dutch actually being Vader. The Dutch pronunciation actually sounds more like the word father though. He has also said death and invader were the words which provided him with inspiration when thinking of the name. Death Invader does sound similar to Darth Vader. When talking about the name Vader, the word invader has just been shortened by 2 letters. Fittingly, Vader is an invader, and this is part of his character in Star Wars. Along with the Empire, he has invaded numerous worlds in different ways. In conclusion, Darth Vader's name has 3 meanings: Dark Father, Death Invader, and Dark Invader. These meanings are large parts of Vader's character. Before I move on to the next Sith, I want to say that I like how the meanings of each Sith Lord's name are linked to what sort of character and Sith they are, along with what their role is. Vader was an invader. Next, we'll move on to Vader's master, Darth Sidious. Sidious is short for the word insidious, which, like many words, has multiple definitions. It has 3 definitions, the first being intended to entrap or beguile. One of the definitions of entrap is to trick someone into committing a crime in order to secure their prosecution. Even though this isn't quite the same, this definition makes me think of when Sidious as Palpatine tells Anakin to kill Dooku. When Anakin does it, he goes against the Jedi Code and is not the Jedi way, as he says. Anakin shouldn't have killed an unarmed prisoner, and by killing Dooku, Anakin could step in to be Sidious's new apprentice. Beguile means to charm or enchant someone, often in a deceptive way, and to trick someone into doing something. Sidious does this to Anakin and others throughout the Clone Wars. Being the master manipulator he is, Sidious managed to seduce Anakin into turning to the dark side. He deceived everyone. In Revenge of the Sith, Sidious tricked Anakin into thinking that he would be able to save Padmé from death by learning the dark side. In the process, he got Anakin to do unspeakable things and become Darth Vader. Anakin didn't save Padmé from death and essentially became Sidious's slave after Padmé's death and his defeat by Obi-Wan. The second definition is stealthily treacherous or deceitful, which is linked to what we just discussed about Palpatine, and he was stealthily treacherous and deceitful as the Chancellor. Thirdly, insidious means operating or proceeding in an inconspicuous or seemingly harmless way but actually with grave effect. Before the rise of the Empire, Sidious did this. He was good at persuading people, and this worked to his advantage. The Republic and the Jedi only saw Palpatine as the kind and friendly Chancellor who was doing good for the Republic, while not knowing the effects that his actions would have until it was too late. Sidious was insidious. Another one of Sidious's apprentices was Darth Maul, his first. Maul itself is a word and its definitions are related to the character. The first definition is wound by scratching and tearing. This meaning refers to an animal, and Maul can be seen as one due to his behaviour and savagery. The other appropriate definition is to treat savagely or roughly. For example, Maul did do this to his opponents. He was brutal and bloodthirsty, and these two words link to the previously mentioned definitions. In case you didn't know, a Maul is a medieval weapon as well. It's a hammer with a long handle and a heavy head that is made of wood, lead or iron. A brutal weapon that can cause much damage. While Darth Maul and the hammer are at opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to speed, they are both utterly brutal and very effective while causing a lot of damage. Maul was a Maul. Let's move on to Maul's brother, Savage Opress. His name already has a clear word in it like Maul's, and Opress can be short for oppression. Put the two words together and you get savage oppression. Funnily enough, the first definition of Maul has savage as a similar word or synonym. This is fitting because the two are brothers, and in terms of their behaviour and mindset, they really are quite similar. Savage's first definition is, of an animal or force of nature, fierce, violent and uncontrolled. This is what Savage is, and you can see this in the battles and lightsaber duels he has in the Clone Wars TV show. Next, we have cruel and vicious, aggressively hostile. Savage demonstrates these traits, and he becomes more like the definitions of this word after he is transformed by the Night Sisters. An older definition is primitive and uncivilized. He is both because his race is primitive, and he was primitive before his transformation, and he is definitely uncivilized. The final appropriate definition is attack ferociously and maul. Savage Opress does this too. Moreover, I just thought that it would be fun to mention that Maul is in that meaning, so we have that link between the two brothers. It's likely that Savage got his first name due to the word being similar to Maul, and he may have been created to be Maul's brother with that in mind. Regarding his surname, the word oppress has two P's rather than the one in his name, and it means to keep someone in subjection and hardship, especially by the unjust exercise of authority. You could say that Savage does that, and he's there to help Maul do that in the Clone Wars TV show. Oppression is prolonged cruel or unjust treatment or exercise of authority. Savage does show this in the TV show, and while he has the authority in certain cases, as he is Maul's brother, he helps Maul exercise his authority. The state of being subject to oppressive treatment can be additionally applied to Savage Opress as well, because there are instances in the Clone Wars TV show where he treats others harshly and without any respect. Savage was a savage oppressor. Finally, we have one of Savage's masters and one of Sidious's apprentices, Darth Tyrannus, aka Count Dooku. In full, his name means Dark Tyranny, or Dark Tyrant. That's quite cool in my opinion. The word tyrant has links to Savage's surname, and rightfully so, as Savage was Tyrannus' apprentice at one point. A tyrant is a cruel and oppressive ruler, which Dooku proved to be as he was the leader of the Separatists. Although, it is possible that Tyrannus is Dooku's Sith name because he believed the Republic was tyrannical due to their treatment of the Jedi, and that they were being used so the Republic could meet its own political goals. Jedi are meant to be peacekeepers, not warriors, or even warmongers who become generals who lead armies in battle and go against what they stand for. As a result of the Clone Wars, the Jedi lose their identity and become vulnerable. Even before the Clone Wars, the Jedi are not truly what they stand for, thanks to being controlled by the Republic. Even so, a tyrant can refer to someone who has illegitimate power and or their leadership is not legitimate. The Separatist alliance was not meant to last, and it had its purpose. This organisation and its leader served as placeholders before the rise of the Empire that Palpatine, or Sidious, would lead. Similarly, Dooku could be called Tyrannus, as Sidious didn't see him as a true and legitimate Sith partner. Like the last definition, Dooku possessed untrue and illegitimate power. Tyrannus was a tyrant. And there we go. Those are 5 Sith name meanings. Be sure to let me know on my Twitter, which is linked in the description, the comments down below, or the discussion section of my channel if you want more content like this. To top it off, I hope you enjoyed the video, and you can subscribe to the channel for more content like this and more gaming content. That is all.